Hello Gemini, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 25th through 31st. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. So we're going to take a look into your general energies. What is it that you need to know? What is the message that is coming through for you for this coming week? What is the situation? What is the biggest challenge, the biggest obstacle before you? All right, Three of Cups. This doesn't seem like much of an obstacle at all, but let's lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And we are going to also do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to put that right here. We're not going to look at that until the very end of the reading, so stick around until the end, and hopefully that will, tie the reading together or give us the confirmation that we're looking for, okay? So, some water, some major, some earth, a lot of water, a lot of major, and fire. So, the one thing that we seem to be lacking here today is the air element, right? Swords. We do have a little bit of air. It's a different kind of air. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about this water, because we have this Three of Cups, right? This is, most often, this is something like a celebration, right? This is something like you being filled with so much just love and joy and beauty and affection for people that you're really just showing that to everyone, right? You're giving out your creative energy, your love energy, your compassion. You're really like in this kind of celebration mode, right? And, it's the end of the year, the holidays are coming, so that could be a big part of it, right? I think there is a lot of reason for you to celebrate. There is a lot of this desire for you to, to celebrate, yes, but just to finally just take a moment to enjoy things. Right? Enjoy the people around you. Have a good time with your loved ones. I think that's kind of like where your head is at a little bit. We see some other energies here that are taking us in slightly different directions. That's why if it seems like I'm kind of hesitating a little bit, it's because this card right here by itself seems really good. It seems it's going to be a party, right? You're going to enjoy yourself. The people around you are going to enjoy themselves. But crossing that, we've got this Seven of Cups, right? And this Seven of Cups kind of comes in to spoil a lot of that celebration, right? This is the drunken uncle that may show up at the holiday party and just kind of ruins everything. Right? Hopefully not literally, but I do think there is kind of an element of that in this situation, that something is going to be, some kind of maybe issue from the past, some sort of emotion is going to be brought up that's going to put a little bit of a damper on some of this celebration. Okay? We'll see if we can get to what might be going on, what some of this kind of issue is, what is this trouble that's going to perhaps be brought up, some kind of an emotional issue, I think. It could be that the holidays are typically a very emotional time for you. Okay, I know that can kind of be said for everyone. It seems like a very stressful time for most of us. But I think there's something particular that is maybe coming to light during this week, right? Maybe something that is kind of finally being revealed or being expressed, or something that has, as of yet or up until now, been a little bit in the dark, a little bit concealed, right? In the recent past, we see some more water. We see this Princess of Cups. I think there was some sort of incident in the past between you and, it might be a water sign person, because we see some more indication of a water sign person here. But it could be this water sign person in the recent past. You had a bit of maybe a falling out. Maybe you've had some words. Maybe there was something going on with this person. Now, the more I think about this, the more I'm kind of opening myself up to some of this water energy. I don't feel like it's a water sign person. I feel like something happened with you and maybe a family member, maybe someone close to you, maybe in your circle of friends, right? that at the time you weren't quite sure how to react to it. Okay, the Princess of Cups. So I'm feeling like something happened. There was some incident, some words were spoken, some kind of an exchange. And at the time, you were kind of like, what just happened? Or how should I feel about what just went on in this situation? Okay, so it's one of those situations where in the moment, you're not really sure how to respond. You're not sure how to really even feel about it. It's not, I think, till sometime after, and now I think that's this week, where you're starting to really feel what that situation did to you or how you really feel about it. Do you know what I mean? I know that I'm kind of all over the place. It doesn't really seem like it's making a lot of sense. But I think it took you some time now. It could be weeks, could be months, could just be a few days ago where this thing happened. And now at this time where you should be celebrating, you should be enjoying your friends and family and sharing in this kind of holiday season and sharing all of this affection and love, right? There's this emotion that creeps in that kind of spoils it all for you. And it's really just, it's almost like that incident, whatever that was that happened, is just kind of hitting you now, right? You're just kind of realizing like, oh, wow, you know? And those feelings are going to, I think, really hit you this week. Whatever this incident was, at the time, like I said, at the time, maybe you didn't think too much of it. Maybe you were just kind of confused and just taken aback and just like, wow, what just happened here? And now it's starting to kind of hit you that you were deeply affected by that, whatever that situation was, okay? We're going to go, where to go to next? We're going to go down here beneath the surface. We have this Queen of Wands here. This is some fiery energy. I think that this situation, more than just like hurting your feelings and coming in to kind of spoil the celebration, let's say, I think this situation is really, really pissing you off. Whatever happened, again, at the time, you weren't sure how to react. You weren't sure what it was, right? Or how to feel about it. But now I think you're starting to get a little pissed off about it. I think you're starting to feel the anger now that maybe, you know, you're unconscious, because this card too is, it's in the position of your unconscious, what's kind of beneath the surface. I think the longer that your unconscious has had to kind of process that exchange, again, I don't know what that situation was, but the longer you've had to kind of process that, kind of the more angry you're getting over it, okay? And it's that kind of unconscious anger. I don't know if you were slighted or disrespected or something, or if there was something a little bit more major that happened, but it was something where at the time you just were kind of maybe just shocked a little bit, right? Shocked into that kind of like disbelief almost. And so there was no feeling there at the time. But now, days or weeks later, you're feeling it. And I think it's an angry feeling that's kind of welling up inside of you, right? And I see directly above that in your kind of your conscious focus, your external kind of focus, is this High Priestess card. So you're almost looking for this kind of serenity, this kind of like you just want peace and harmony, kind of, right? But you have this angry feeling welling up inside of you. These two cards are just kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum here on the path of the dove, on the vertical axis. Okay, so deep down within you feel this kind of anger, this kind of, you're just kind of seething a little bit over this thing. But externally, on the surface, and maybe your outward expression is trying to not let it bother you, trying to kind of push this anger down, right? Trying to, like, you know, offer it up to God or Goddess, or just, you know, meditate it away. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of hoping that you can restrain that feeling or just kind of channel it elsewhere, right? Because you can't keep this down in your unconscious. And I don't think you really want this, you don't want this blow up, right? You don't want it, you don't want to just kind of have it out with this person and like lose your temper with them, right? But in the meantime, while you're trying to figure out how to deal with this, I think that energy is affecting your situation this week, this joyful, this what should be a joyful celebration, exchange of affection and energy, and that kind of love situation. And I think that's what we're seeing here with this 3 and with the 7 of Cups, right? We're seeing that it's kind of spoiling this good time that you've got set up this week. Okay. And so the way forward with this is going to have to be maybe a little bit of a combination between just invoking the serenity and just kind of, meditating this feeling away. Somewhere between that and just having it out, just expressing yourself and, having that fight, that argument, calling this person out, whatever that kind of urge is. Because, see, the Queen of Wands doesn't really take any shit, right? This is a card that is very, very powerful, very much in control of their emotions, in control of this fiery energy that they have, but can sometimes express it too much. You know what I mean? Not that it's a loss of control, but you think the limit or the extent of your expression is well justified, but it might be a little bit over the top anyway. You know what I mean? It's not a loss of control. It's just you kind of took it too far intentionally. So there's that aspect of the Queen of Wands there, and I think that it's kind of this this like a juxtaposition here. There's two kind of polar sides of it, where it's just the kind of ignore it, hope it goes away, don't bring it up, don't talk about it, try to just forget about it. But inside, I still think there's this fiery kind of almost a rage that's kind of building up, and I think the more you try to just smooth it over and just pretend it didn't happen, the angrier you will get. In the immediate future, we see this Mercury card, okay? So this magician, this juggler, this trickster Mercury here, this is showing that the way forward is going to be one of very clever and skillful kind of strategy on your part, right? You're going to have to find a way, and I think when you acknowledge both of these energies, the High Priestess and this Queen of Wands, maybe the High Priestess mostly, to give you that kind of intuition, to give you that guiding light, to give you that kind of, aha, I've got it kind of moment, right? You're going to be able to use this Mercury energy to really, really deal with this in a subtle and clever way, okay? Something that's not going to disrupt the entire kind of joyful celebration of the 3 of Cups. Something that's not you just kind of taking it on the chin, turning the other cheek, or trying to forget about it or ignore it or pretend it doesn't bother you. This is a more tactical, more subtle strategy to express yourself, to kind of maybe get a little bit of payback. You know what I mean? And I don't want to speculate on what could have happened or what this Mercury is going to really manifest as. I think all of you out there have pretty vivid imaginations, and especially being Gemini, I think there's this kind of dual aspect of it where you can have the tendency to go too far in either direction, either to pacify yourself too much and to kind of just forget it ever happened, right? Just take the L and move on, or there's this fiery rage where you could just take your kind of your revenge a little bit too far, So I think that Mercury here is a nice balance between the two, and it's also that kind of more subtle strategy where, you're going to get your just desserts. You know what I mean? And I think this is interesting because Mercury is that kind of that fluidity that can go between these two states, that can kind of navigate all of the elements, navigate the unconscious as well as the conscious and external kind of the vibe that you want to have, right, versus what you really feel. You know what I mean? But let's move over now to the path of the Serpent, because I'm interested in maybe what this was that had happened, or why it seems to be this important, why it seems to be affecting you this much. The first thing is your general energy. This is one of wealth. I think that you are in you're in a pretty good place in your life. Okay, I think that you have reached a level of success and maturity. I think maybe you're established in your career. Maybe you're one of the older family members, right? Like an older sibling, or you're the one that people expect to have their stuff together, to have their life put together, right? So I think you're kind of looked at as the one who is like the successful member of the family or of this group. And, this could be taking place in the workplace as well, right? It could be professional or personal. But I think you're taking it very personally, whatever's going on. But you're the one that is kind of expected to be, to maintain their decorum, maintain their kind of professional attitude, their maturity, right? And so I think that's why a little subtlety, a little tact is going to go a long way in this situation, rather than just kind of letting the Queen of Wands just have her way and just kind of explode and express this rage the way she would want to, right? And it's not gender specific, it's just the imagery of the card. But that Queen of Wands energy just wants the revenge, wants to lose their temper, wants to really express that fiery rage. But I think more subtlety and more tact is necessary, because you don't want to, you don't really want to go against this vibe that you have. This general energy is one of wealth and success and stability and maturity, refinement perhaps a little bit, right? You're kind of the one, I think, and I know I said this already, but you're the one that everyone sees as having their shit together, right? Like you've got your life you're well put together, I think, overall. And that's the reason why a little bit of Mercury is needed here, a little bit of subtlety, a little bit of tact, okay, a little bit of cleverness. Now the next card we see is in the position of your relationships. How are you relating to this? Well, we see the Art or Temperance card. We've kind of already talked about this. There's this juxtaposition between like the fire and the water, the active and the passive, the yin and the yang, the kind of quiet, meek, taking the L, taking it on the chin, turning the other cheek, forgetting about it, just pretending it doesn't bother you, versus the fiery rage, right? That seething anger, that revenge, that fiery burst, that outburst kind of, So this is the dilemma. And this, again, the Temperance card here is a card that's all about strategy, right? How are you going to take these two modes of energy, right? The fire and the water. How are you going to take those and get them to work together to give you the desired outcome, right? So this card's really about strategy. It's about careful planning and careful execution, because you're dealing with two very, very opposing forces in this situation, in this context. Okay. So this is a very delicate mixture of fire and water. You have to be very careful with how you mix these, otherwise it could just blow up, So I think a lot of tact, a lot of strategy, a lot of cleverness. And it's great that you have this Mercury energy, because this is showing that you really can work with these fire and water elements. You can easily shift between them within yourself, right? And with these two cards combined, I think you're gonna figure out the best way to handle this. It's almost like you're at this kind of holiday gathering, and in walks that person that did this to you, or had these words with you, or whatever this exchange was. And right in that moment, you have to kind of decide how you're going to react, right? Because you have that fire in you. As soon as you see that person, you feel it. But then you've got that high priestess, that water energy, that kind of lunar energy, and you're going to have to make that decision, right? So maybe it's better to strategize now before that moment happens, because in that moment, I think it's going to be easy to let that fiery energy, that active fire energy, to just do its thing. We're going to go to the next card here. And this is in the position of your kind of worries, what you're a little bit concerned about. And the Sun card here is, on the one hand, it's you maintaining this aura, this vibe of professionalism and refinement and well put together, and you're stable and secure in yourself, in your emotions, right? I mean, we think of an unstable person as someone who is prone to react in extreme ways, right? And this Sun card is kind of about the wholeness. It's about being really stable and steady, being consistent. So I think that is, again, another reason why you don't want to do the wrong thing here. You don't want to react in a way that is not consistent with how you have kind of created yourself. Do you know what I mean? I think there has been a real focus on getting your health together, getting your life together, building your career, building your kind of emotional intelligence. Building in this sense of, I keep saying professionalism, but that's not really the word. It's more of a maturity, more of a calm balance, but a confident and assertive calmness, you know? And that's kind of what the Sun card here is representing. And I think that's your concern, is that you don't want to lose all of this progress that you've made by just letting this temper loose on this person, right? So it's in a large degree not because of what everyone else might think, right, or how you will appear to everyone else if you react in a certain way with this person. It's not really about that. It's about you feeling like you've backtracked or backslid or lost some progress, right? Because I think you've done a lot of work to reach this Sun kind of stage in your life, right? This balance, this consistency. Just like this Sun card, it's consistent. It is shining bright with this love and warmth 24 hours a day. Doesn't matter day or night, doesn't matter what season we're in here on Earth. This Sun is always consistent, always expressing love and abundance and joy and nurturing and care and, all that stuff. That warmth. And so this, I think, is the concern. And that's otherwise, I'd say just unleash the Queen of Wands, But there are some concerns why you don't want to do that. And I think I understand those concerns and why that's a factor. The final card that we see on the path of the Serpent here is interesting because, we started with this Princess of Cups, okay, and now we have the Prince of Cups. And so this is an interesting development, I think. Now hear me out. We started with this situation that kind of took you by surprise, you were kind of taken aback by it, a little shocked, a little unsure how to feel, unsure what it was, what it meant. But the more you kind of sat on it for a while, the angrier you got, okay? And that's where we're at now. I think when all of this energy is said and done, I think you're going to, on the one hand, you're going to understand exactly what that situation was, what it meant to you, and why it made you so angry. Okay? But on the other hand, because the princes are the air element of the suit that they're in, right? So this is the airy aspect of the water, of the feeling. This is the feeling, the emotional body, trying to communicate, trying to relate, trying to understand itself and the world around it, okay? So if this is the Prince of Cups, which we had the Princess first, and now the next phase of energy is the Prince, right? So it's a little bit higher in the hierarchy, it's a little bit further up the tree of manifestation, right? A little closer to pure spirit or pure understanding, okay? A little bit closer. So this is kind of a deeper understanding or a maturity in your understanding of what that situation was and why it affected you. Why it made you feel the way you feel about it. And it could be that when all of this is said and done, you're going to realize that maybe you kind of misinterpreted the whole thing. Okay? I think with a little bit of time and a little bit communication, a little bit more understanding, or the attempt to understand, you might realize that the situation is not at all what you thought it was. That what this incident was not at all, in fact, maybe isn't how you remembered it. It's not quite the same as what you kind of sat on and ruminated on, and you started to feel this anger over. Maybe that wasn't really what happened after all. Now, I'm not trying to gaslight you, not trying to give you a reason to doubt your memories or doubt your feelings. You feel how you feel about this. This person, you had some interaction with this person that just rubbed you the wrong way. Okay? All I'm saying is, spend some time to really get a more objective viewpoint, and maybe before this Queen of Wands has their outburst, right, gets their revenge, try to understand, try to just invoke a little bit of your empathy and compassion and try to get a better understanding of what it was that happened. Try to see things from the other person's point of view. Try to understand, just get a little bit more clarity on the situation. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's just a possibility, right? It's just a possibility that there is a little bit, because the Prince of Cups is always that card that has a little bit more than meets the eye to it. Okay? If you look at any of my readings, I see the Prince of Cups, I think there's something there that we're not seeing or not understanding. There's something within this card that is different than what we see, right? The inner portion, the subtle portion of this card is a lot different than the kind of vibe that we get from the outward manifestation of it. There's always more than meets the eye for the Prince of Cups. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. And I hope that will at least be something that you take into account as you kind of do your Mercury temperance kind of strategizing, right? When you figure out the subtlety and the tact about what you're going to do, how you're going to handle this situation, should it arise. Because, this could mean something different for all of you out there. But the way I'm feeling about it is, with that Seven of Cups, something comes into your good time and sets off this memory, this feeling reaction over something that happened in the relatively recent past with this Princess of Cups. Right now, I don't think it's a water sign person. I think the water here, the cups in these two cards, is talking about your emotional body and how you've taken that incident into yourself and how you're feeling about it and how that feeling is changing over time, right? At the beginning, it was kind of just a shock and like a surprise almost. And then as time went on, you started to really get angry about it. So something happened there. Let's take a look at this confirmation card. I'm very, very, very curious what that is going to be. I don't know. Maybe some more cups. I would like to see, own personal preference here, I would like to see some harmonious cup energy, some water energy. This could be more fire, however, because there's... Okay, huge sigh of relief. There's an Ace of Cups. So I think that this is really that... we said with the Princess and the Prince that it's kind of higher up towards the pure kind of expression of the higher understanding, the hierarchy, right? Higher up the tree. The Ace is the highest up the ladder that you can go, right? This is just the complete closest to divinity water energy that we can get, right? This practically is divinity. So this is a kind of a good sign. I think that this is telling me, telling you that part of the solution here is going to be just a lot more love, right? A lot of compassion, a lot of understanding. This is almost like a forgiveness kind of card. This is almost like that. You gotta have your strategy. You're gonna, are you gonna confront this person? How are you gonna handle this? That's up to you. That's up to your interpretation of these cards, of this energy. But I see the ultimate outcome being one of love and understanding and compassion. And this card makes me happy because this is a happy ending, right? This is a happy ending to the story. And, you know, this could be many things. It could just be like just kind of a friendly exchange. Just kind of, you know, you'll tolerate each other. Things are kind of settled. This could be that the two of you really just misunderstood each other, and you kind of come together in this Ace of Cups, this unity, right? Where there's this shared understanding and this just kind of mutual affection that develops between the two of you. I mean, this could go in that kind of a direction where there's really a closeness that develops here, and in years down the road, the two of you are going to laugh about this. But maybe not. Maybe not. But I think it's going to have a happy ending, and happy as in the terms of your fire energy is going to be, I think, just overshadowed by some of this love, pleasure, this beauty, this joy and happiness. Okay? So you're not going to feel this kind of anger. I think that's going to be, in one way or another anyway, it's going to be relieved. Okay? And I think it's going to be relieved by this compassion, this understanding. And this is a really good confirmation. We're going to take a little bit of a look in the extended. If you want to stick around, you can become a member to the channel. The information for that is down in the description box. I also do personal readings, which you can just read the description box. All the info's in there. Okay. Again, this was your weekly tarot reading for December 25th through 31st on Dove and Serpent Tarot. And I'll see you again.